Greetings to Dr. Fariha. My name is ELOISE SHUEN, a semester 3 TESOL student from Group B. Today, I'll explain my perspectives of the topics in this portfolio. So this is a bit of a description about myself. Now let's move on to the important parts of this portfolio. So what is SELC, or known as Secondary English Language Curriculum, is a type of framework that is utilized by educators as a guideline and references, or a framework that targets learner skill development. And why do they have to make this kind of idea? Well, it is to develop the confident and competent communicators who can express themselves proficiently, improving learners' overall language skills such as receptive skill and productive skill, and helping students acquire global competencies which can give them many career opportunities as well. So SELC is aligned with Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, or CEFR, that focuses on the communicative competence of language users. And the curriculum is structured around very themes-focused activities and HOTS questions. So theme-focused activities that focus on real-world topics and practical language use, and HOTS question to enhance learners' critical thinking skills and encourage reflective thinking as well. Next will be the motivation. Motivation is one of the components that maintain students' eagerness to strive for their goals. So there are two kinds of motivation that caters to students' goal, which are the integrative and the instrumental motivation. So integrative motivation refers to students who learn the language in order to take part in the culture of its people. So for example, students who want to learn Korean language due to their love for K-pop, K-dramas, and their cultures, so they learn the language to understand the content better. On the other hand, instrumental motivation refers to students who learn the language in order to secure the job that they love. For example, students may learn the Spanish language because the company that they desire to work with prefers the employee to be good in Spanish language, so that's why they adapt to the instrumental motivation in order to improve their career prospects. And what happens if the students do not have any motivation? Well, students may face many difficulties in learning new language, and lack of self-esteem is one of the issue, and also to the lack of engagement in class, which can be a concern to the educators. Therefore, it is important to spark the students' interest in learning new language by triggering their interest. There are the strategies: triggering their interest in maybe music and movies, integrating fun activities and technologies such as game-based learning, and encouraging learning experiences outside of the classroom. What about language learning and styles? There are 4 kinds of language learning styles. The first one is the visual learners who absorb information through what they see and visualize. So they prefer graph images and charts to absorb the information. As for kinesthetic learners, they are the people who prefer doing physical tasks such as role play, experiments, and other activities that can help them, that involves them using their physical energy and sensory organs. As for auditory learners, they prefer to absorb information through listening and inquire, such as listening to audios, one-on-one conversation, and lectures. Last but not least, we have reading or writing learners. It refers to people who prefer reading and writing to acquire the information, such as reading a reference book, doing practical worksheets, and write essays for their exercises. While learning styles are more to students' preferred method to absorb information, cognitive learning style is one of the preferred way of handling, perceiving information, and also to solve ways to address the problem. So we have 3 kinds of cognitive learning style, which is field independence, which involves with how the person perspectives and thinking about a task or problem. Ambiguity tolerance is how people are okay with criticisms, and reflectivity versus impulsivity is when how they think and how they weigh all the consideration in a problem, how they work out all the loopholes and justifications as well. And language learning strategies is how learners apply techniques that align with their preferred learning styles to process, understand, and retain information effectively. So they have direct and indirect strategy. For the indirect strategy, it will be cognitive strategy, memory strategy, compensation strategy. Cognitive is how they enable learners to understand and produce new language. Memory is more to how it helps learners to store and retrieve new information, and compensation strategy is how they assist students in bridging language knowledge gaps. And what about the direct strategy? Direct strategy is, the first one will be metacognitive strategy. This is how they plan out, how they control their own learning through organizing, planning, evaluating, and plan how to approach the information and evaluate their weakness and strength. Affective strategy is how they manage the learner's emotions, attitude, and motivation, how they keep up with their motivation. And for social strategy is how they encourage social interaction to improve their language. So ESL teaching approaches. So for the first one, we have behavioral theory. This theory is associated with B.F. Skinner, who believes that observing one's behavior can help in identifying their way of perceiving knowledge, perceiving knowledge, information, and responses. And there are two key concepts here, which are the classical conditioning and the operant conditioning. Classical conditioning involves with which refers to learning through association, such as the neutral stimulus or something that triggers them with unexpectedly. As for the operant, which is learning through consequences, such as reinforcement and punishment. As for innatist theory is associated with Noam Chomsky, who believes that youngsters have the natural ability to learn new language. And he believes that the language acquisition device shapes children's language acquisition, working alongside universal grammar that helps them to understand the basic grammatical rules shared by all languages. So for information, LAD is a tool that is in humans' brain, which helps children in learning and understanding language easily and rapidly. So to put it simple, children learn language naturally due to their optimal learning age, and they do not need any trigger to begin learning, as they learn by being exposed to it. But of course, children needs to have the right input in order for the LAD to work effectively. Cognitivism is associated with Piaget, who focuses on how the mind works. So, and it indicates that humans learn language step by step. So he believes that the learning results from internal mental activity and not the external expose. So humans learn language through step by step, which is followed by the stages of cognitive development, which are sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. Social cultural theory is associated with Vygotsky, who focuses on collaborative skill and social interaction. So he believed that social interaction and collaborative skill is really effective when it comes to helping students to improve their language skills. And there are three principles of social cultural theory, which is social nature of knowledge, meaning we learn by interacting. Second, it introduced the zone of proximal development, where learning is effective when we help to achieve tasks that we don't do alone individually. And it emphasizes scaffolding, where, like I mentioned, teachers or higher level learners provide guidance in learning. Constructivism, which is associated with Dewey, when it comes to the word construct, it refers to an action which is built, right? And constructivism is somewhat familiar to that. He believes that humans construct knowledge based on their past experience. And he also believes that learners are not in a blank state, since they have past experiences on certain things that they learn from themselves. Therefore, students should engage more in active learning, as it deemed effective, rather than just simply memorizing facts that will only come and go in just a short matter of time. Next, we'll move on to the last one, which is the 35 Kagan cooperative strategies. This strategy is actually a structured activities that promote social interaction and teamwork among students. So this can help with enhancing their collaborative skills, teamwork, boost confidence, and increase their learning engagement as well. So in here, I have provided 4 examples of the strategies that can be used in a classroom. For example, all right round robin, students will take turns in responding questions. Inside out circle, students will be in pairs and they will rotate and face new partners, asking them other questions. And one stray, where one teammate from different teams will stray from their team and goes to another team to spread the information. And last but not least, pairs compares is when pairs will respond to the questions and they'll compare their answers. And that's all from me. Thank you very much.